As a parent, I can say it takes a lot of trust to put your precious bundle of joy in the care of someone else. There's always fear that trust will be broken.
I just had this feeling like something just wasn't right, but I didn't know exactly what it was.
Tabitha Tatum recalls when her son was in childcare.
I went and toured it. Everything looked really nice. It was clean. It smelled good. You know, you read all the stuff about what to look for, so I looked around, paid attention in the rooms to see if how they were taken care of, how they were cleansing, the different utensils and things, you know, just their everyday schedule. And so I felt good. It just seemed like a happy place.
Her son is now 9, but when he was an infant, she and her husband both worked. So she put their 3-month-old in the facility she felt was best for their family.
Say hi. Well, I called every single day like a new mom.
Tatum says the only way she would put her son in childcare was if there was a camera system, not knowing how crucial it would be.
This one particular day, I called and I heard some crying in the background, and I thought, like, that sounds like my son. And I asked, I was like, is that Maverick? And they're like, oh yeah, it looks like, I think he just woke up from a nap. And so I was like, okay. So I thought that was just a little odd, but I mean, babies cry.
Tatum says when she picked up her son that day, he seemed abnormally hungry.
He just ate as if he had never eaten before.
And he was also tired. She says he then fell asleep and slept the rest of the night.
You used to have to feed your baby every 2 hours. So here I am expecting to wake him up to feed him again, and he won't wake up because he's so exhausted.
She says the child care center gave her a log each day, noting the times he would eat, sleep, and have diaper changes. But something just didn't add up. So she told the center she would be keeping her son home, but wanted to come in and see the video of that day. They agreed.
I'm watching my son as a 3-month-old baby crying that he's hungry, that it's time to eat, and he's in a swing going like this, 3 months old, and they're putting the bottle in his mouth and just going like this trying to feed him. Well, he wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take it because he's going like this side by side. And so I'm just watching, and I watched the hour, like the time progress of him just wailing, crying, and never eating a bottle.
Did they feed him?
I have no idea. I just know that I watched my baby for a few hours because you can fast forward. She fast forwarded on the time, and he was still crying, and he was still crying, and he was still crying.
So you watched a video of your baby crying for hours?
Right.
Hours?
Yeah.
And nothing was done?
Apparently not to my knowledge.
So he didn't return?
No, never again.
Children, even though they may not be able to communicate with us, they do give us lots of signs that maybe something is just not right at school or at their childcare facility.
Conley Ann Ragley is the Director of Communications and External Affairs at South Carolina's Department of Social Services. She says Tatum did everything right by picking up on the signs her infant son was giving her.
Watching the changes in their behavior, checking their bodies if you see a suspicious mark or a question, talking to the childcare provider.
DSS is responsible for licensing and regulating the health and safety of childcare facilities in the state. And it's a big job. There are currently more than 2,400 legal centers in the state, and each center is inspected annually.
We have a lot of things in state law and state regulation as far as sanitary guidelines, health and safety, as well as spacing to make sure that there's enough space for children, making sure that employees of the child care center have been fingerprinted and background checked.
In addition to employee records, sanitary regulations, and spacing, each year DSS will look at ratios, making sure there's the right number of staff for each age group. For example, the state requires 1 staff member for every 5 infants because babies need more hands-on care than older kids. DSS also looks closely at the safety protocols for how children are signed in and out of and moving through a facility, meaning do staff know exactly where a child is supposed to be and with whom. Finally, it also checks the condition of the building as well as outdoor play and meal areas. A parent herself, Ragley says choosing where to place your child for care can be overwhelming.
Safety is of the utmost importance for parents when they are making a choice as to which child care center works for them.
Ragley says Tatum's experience is heartbreaking, but it doesn't represent the majority of childcare workers.
Think about it. They're caring for these children like their own during the day. There are, again, hundreds of thousands of childcare workers in South Carolina that you never see on the news that are wiping the noses and helping prepare the bottles and helping children get ready for school every day that are really just, again, unsung heroes.
Up high.
Tatum says she knows her son's situation was likely an exception, and there are plenty of wonderful childcare facilities and workers. But she wants her experience to warn other families to be aware of what can happen, an experience that still, 9 years later, stirs up emotions.
This is going to sound crazy. I couldn't even drive by it. It would make me feel so sick to my stomach. I couldn't even drive by it. I had to take a detour because I couldn't. It's your baby.
Ragley says every licensed or legal childcare center in the state is available on the state's DSS website, from small in-home family care with fewer than 6 children to large facilities with hundreds of kids. She says the first step for parents is to check to make sure a center is on that site. If it's not there, it's not licensed. There, you can also find complete inspection reports for each licensed facility. You can find a link to the department's website in the story on our website, WNBFnews.com. In the studio, Erica Edwards, WNBF News.